Hi everyone, welcome back to CES 2014. We are here at the Engadget stage in the grand lobby of the convention center here. I am Brad Mullen, Senior Mobile Editor for Engadget, and I have the pleasure of being joined by Juha Alakarhu. I knew I was going to do it, I am so sorry. Alakarhu.
Alakarhu, yeah, very good to be here, thank you.
I kept practicing and then, I get that moment of pressure and I'm sorry about that. But it's great to have you here. I don't know if you know this, but you're the follow-up act to 50 Cent.
Yeah, I noticed that. I took a picture of the.
Yeah, he was warming up the couch.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I noticed that. Yeah, well, no, this is good.
Yeah, but honestly, it's great to have you because you're the mastermind behind Nokia's PureView initiative. You've been working on this project for the last few years. Of course, the 808 PureView came out on Symbian a couple years back, and then the Lumia 1020 on Windows Phone. I want to talk to you a little bit about the behind the scenes and how this all came to be. Obviously, this was a very long process.
Yeah.
So tell us exactly, about that light bulb that came in the top of your head, because obviously this is a very huge deal.
Yeah. So the beginning of PureView, we had been working a long time with optical zooms with my boss Eero Salmelin, and we had been really struggling to make perfect optical zoom for smartphones. And we realized that we need to get something like that because it's available in DSCs, pocket DSCs, but still we were not able to get the experience right when we were trying to do optical zooms. And then we were thinking that, okay, if we would have like 40 megapixel sensor, we would be able to do the same functionality. But at that time, 2007, putting a 40 megapixel sensor to a smartphone felt unrealistic. But at one night when we were having a couple of drinks after a really intensive day of trying to get over these optical zoom problems, we came up with that we really need to do this 40 megapixel thing, and that's how it started in 2007. And of course, there's been really long design process making it really happen to 808, 1020, and now 1520.
Wow, so a couple of drinks started it all.
Yes, it's actually a true story, and we have a photo of the napkin where we made the original sketch. This is how it should look, and
yeah. So did the end result? I see you have a few sensors here. Did the end result actually turn out to be exactly like that napkin?
Of course not. In the beginning, we were really only solving the problem of optical zoom. How do we do lossless zooming in smartphones? But of course, in the end, it became so much more. So like really the zoom reinvented. You can zoom while you're taking the photo, and then you can zoom later on to sideways. You can zoom back. None of those ideas. We didn't have any of those ideas when we did the invention. So the invention became so much more when we put it to a product.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So tell us about the transition going from Symbian to Windows Phone. You were able to do this in about the course of a year, but of course the process of getting PureView in the first place was, what, about 5 years in the making?
Like that, yeah.
So that was, in the grand scheme of things, that was a pretty quick transition. Can you tell us a little bit about how this all went about and some of the challenges they had going to Windows Phone?
Yeah. So of course the original 5 years, it was a lot of design, finding the right technologies to really make that idea become realistic. So of course we didn't do 5 years of like actual product, but so in the beginning it was a lot of technology development. So actually I think the Windows platform was really excellent for us to make the new experiences. For example, how do you zooming now? So it has this concept of dual capture. So while you're taking the photo, it records the oversampled image, 5 megapixel, and it takes also the full resolution photo at the same time, so that you can really zoom back and sideways after you had taken the photo. So it was actually surprisingly easy for us to implement those kind of new features in the Windows platform. But of course, a lot of the design is also how do you make the image processing. We had been developing a lot of those algorithms in Symbian platform, and making them for Windows platform was, of course, there's lots of just hard work making it all happen in different kind of platforms.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like a lot of hard work. I mean, just even getting the software right, I'm sure, is a huge challenge. But how much time do you have before the product comes out? Like, how much access do you have to the actual software itself beforehand?
Well, of course we have plenty of time, and of course we have had. This was not the first Windows phone that we did, so we had been already doing several Windows phones before we did the 1020. So we have plenty of time to play with the hardware and software and the platform to really optimize.
Right. Now, something that's very curious to me, I've always been meaning to ask. You have a lot of competitors out there that try to do exactly what you do. I mean, in terms of coming out with new, clever imaging innovations. So there are certainly a lot of great cameras out there, but I've always felt that the 1020 is top notch. It's in the top of the class, and I'm not trying to sound like a fanboy, but it's very impressive.
Yeah.
What I'm curious about is on the Android side of things, your competitors have been taking their sweet time actually getting to where you are right now. They're not bad, but they're certainly not to the level of the 1020. Are there limitations to Android that are causing that, or is this just something that Windows Phone has given you an advantage?
Well, I wouldn't be able to know so much about the Android.
Sure.
But what I can tell you, we have a really passionate team. So we had the first camera phone in 2002, and 10 years from that we had the AOL PureView. So we had from big 40 VGA camera to 40 megapixel in 10 years, and the team has been working in kind of impossible projects for the whole 10 or 11 years. So I remember there's been so many times that people have been telling me that it's impossible to make an LED flash that has 100 lux at 1 meter. It's impossible to make a smartphone that has sharpness similar to SLR. And always the team is like, the impossible has been made possible so many times. I just think it's really comes from the team and how we are working in Nokia to make these kind of things happen.
Right. You say it's impossible, and then you have a couple drinks, and
then it becomes possible.
Magic.
Yeah, it's magic. beer makes wonderful things happen. Yeah.
So like you said, you've been together as a team for a very long time, and I know that there are a lot of people concerned about the future, and naturally so. A lot of times with mergers and acquisitions, it's not always a smooth transition into the next step. What I want to know is what's going to happen with the imaging team once Microsoft finally takes over.
Yeah. So of course we have been working a long time with Microsoft already. I can tell you we have personal friends in Microsoft, and I know that they have some really strong guys in Microsoft and Nokia, and I think we will be a really strong team when we are together, and I think that helps us to make better products, and that's really all that matters in the end. Right. So we will be continuing to push the boundaries of digital imaging also in the future. I can promise you that.
So what are your vision over the next few years? Any trade secrets you want to give?
Of course,
we're all friends around here.
Of course, the roadmap. I will just.
But seriously though, your general vision over the next few years, where do we go from here? 41 megapixel camera is pretty hard to beat, but I know obviously you guys are just going to continue on and continue improving and coming out with new stuff. Where are we going with mobile photography?
Well, it's definitely a really exciting time now. So the beautiful thing overall in imaging is that sight is the most important human sense, and you can always make things better. So I can show my photos to my grandmother, and she can tell, hey, I don't like that photo because it's too grainy or dark or whatever, wrong colors. So you can always make things better, and people will always notice that. And then there are also a lot of these new experiences. We have the Nokia camera has now the integrated mode where it captures 10 photos, and then you can do the action shot, and you can remove objects. We have the refocus. There's a lot of things that you can really make. You can make new experiences in digital cameras that you haven't been able to even think about in the past. And the technologies, the enabling technologies, they have been developing with amazing pace since 2002, since we had the first camera phone. And I could say that now the technologies are developing faster than ever. So it's super fun to work in this field.
I would imagine it is incredibly fun to be able to play around and do the stuff that you do. Now, in terms of what people are using their phones for, it seems that the latest trends are going towards stuff like Instagram, Snapchat, Facebook updates, and in a lot of cases, I almost feel like some of these incredible imaging powers that you have thrown into these phones are going to waste. Do you feel that these kind of services and these trends are more of a help for you guys, or is it more of a hindrance?
Oh, it's definitely help because when you share your earlier I am a photographer. I was taking a lot of photos, then I was sharing them. I had like nice slideshows in my living room, and maybe 10 people saw them. So now I can share with everybody. and the fact that we have those services makes us people more and more excited about imaging. And when you can take amazing photos that nobody else can take with Nokia camera, that's of course kind of social currency. It does make your photos stand out in the crowd. So definitely, social imaging puts even like stronger pressure to make big innovations in imaging.
Do you see over the next few years smartphones overtaking DSLRs and replacing DSLRs?
Well, of course, it's not my task to say that what do you want to use. I'm personally using my SLR and 1020. So of course there are things that SLRs have, like you can have the 300 millimeter telephoto lens in the SLR that you currently don't have in the 1020.
Good point.
But there was actually an interesting. There has been a couple of comparisons where you compare like 1020 and SLRs, and it's unbelievable how good the quality of 1020 is. And I was actually in last summer. I was in an imaging conference, and then we had our group photo taken, and they were using SLR. And last summer we didn't have the 1020 yet, so I had my 808 with me, and I told them, hey, why don't you use the 808 for the group photo, so you get a little bit better quality. And you know, there were like 100 skeptical scientists. What is this smartphone? And then they published the SLR photo and the 808 photo. And I think everybody could argue that the 808 photo was actually better than what the SLR was looking.
Did you have the audible gasp?
Yeah.
when they put them up, it's like.
Well, I think so, and they published it after the conference. But it's just you almost can't believe your eyes.
Right.
How good these products are.
Okay, so you brought some sensors here to show us.
Yes.
So we need to wrap up really quick, but I do want to at least show off the sensors really quick, since you brought them all the way here.
Yes,
so,
this was so heavy.
Yeah, so what do you have here?
So this is the camera module that we have in 1020. So you see it's the big one. And then we have the one that we have in 1520, and a little bit smaller one that we have in the entry level. And the exciting thing is this very small one. It's one of the front-facing cameras. So when you compare these two guys together, you can really see how huge kind of scale we have in the cameras, and still we are using kind of similar techniques of design for both of them. So it's fun.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. Okay, and before we finally wrap up, Juha has generously given us a Lumia 1520. This is actually going to be given away through mini.engadget.com. So go to that URL, check it out. We also have the apps through iOS and Android. Sorry.
It's okay.
Hopefully Windows Phone at some point. But you go to that and enter to win. Whoever wins, and they'll finally have a Windows Phone if they're checking on their iOS or Android. So that's the connection right there. Anyway, Juha Alakarhu.
Yes.
Yes, thank you so much for coming on with us. Definitely appreciate it.